Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, in this video we'll be going through the latest Manchester United news, talking about a new centre-back, Eric Ten Hag latest, and much more. Don't forget to drop a like, comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos on the channel. Let me know which videos you want to see as well. We're going to start off by talking about a new centre-back and much more. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, Manchester United have reportedly been interested in signing a new centre-back now. There's been loads of names mentioned, Jared Branthwaite, and there's something on Lina Euro. They are interested in Lille centre-back Lina Euro. So that's something that obviously is being established. I think it's very interesting to see about that. I think obviously it's adamant that Manchester United want a new centre-back, and there has been some later developments around it. I think it's really important to think about the deal that's going to happen with the new centre-back, because I do certainly think it's a very fascinating deal that could happen. And could be a deal that could happen relatively soon in the transfer window. So yeah, let's go through all the news that has come in around Ten Hag. So I'm going to go through each quote that's come out from the United Stand interview and kind of analyse it and give you a bit more intel on it. So I think we'll get clarity before the week ends, today, tomorrow. It won't take much longer. That's Ben Jacobs talking about the decision Eric Ten Hag being made. So there'll be some clarity. It won't be them. He then says the board are trying to take out emotion of whatever decision they make on Ten Hag. They won't let the high of the FA Cup win or the low of some big losses this season cloud their judgment. Claude Blanc is offering the argument in favour of keeping Ten Hag, with Sir Dave Brailsford playing the devil's advocate role. They ensure that every viewpoint is thoroughly examined before they come to a final decision. Listen, the rumours are there won't be a public statement. Although Manchester United will see their latest with Eric Ten Hag by the end of this week. And that's important. We need clarity before going into next season. I certainly think as well, we can't be going into pre-season worrying about who our manager is going to be if we have a new manager. If Ineos come out, give us some clarity, give us some latest information, I think the fans and everyone at Manchester United and the football community will kind of respect that a bit more. And that's something for me that needs to happen. Giving Ten Hag the thing that he deserves as well, giving him some clarity as well. And I think they're still assessing the season. Obviously, that's how it's going to go. And I do certainly think it'd be interesting to see what does happen with the season, because it ended on a real high, but there has been some really bad lows within that season. So I'm fascinated to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens. And yeah, we're going to see. Now, Kieran McKenna, someone who is being linked with the Manchester United job, has signed a new contract at Ipswich, ruling him out of the Manchester United job. I think it was way too early for him to come to Manchester United anyway. You look at him, he's a young manager, back-to-back promotion, which is really good actually, with an Ipswich side. I think he has done fairly well in moments this season. But I don't think it'd be too big of a step. I think you give him a season in the Premier League, wherever Manchester United are with that decision, and with the manager we're at, we could get in a new manager. He could be the one. But I certainly think right now it's way too premature, it's way too early to make a deal like that. Now, there's been some latest on Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel wants to move to Manchester United as he feels that there's unfinished business in the Premier League and would almost automatically accept an offer. Some at Bayern theorised that there could be a vacancy at United and thus forced his way out. So it's clear again, Thomas Tuchel wants to come back to the Premier League and he wants to have a deal at Manchester United. Obviously, at Chelsea, he won the Champions League and had a decent time there. It did end in the worst ways. I think Thomas Tuchel's a manager with great experience, and I've already had my say on the show earlier. I don't think he's a manager for Manchester United, unfortunately. I think he's a decent manager. He's got some great principles. I think if we're going to replace Ten Hag, we need a top class manager who's experienced, won a lot. And yes, Tuchel has, but I could change my opinion. But as of now, I don't really want Thomas Tuchel in the Manchester United job. Now, the next thing, Ineos are seeking feedback from some of the senior Manchester United players at Manchester United are part of this strategic review. Fan sentiment has to be listened to, as you're crazy as an owner if you disassociate yourself with the fans. But Ineos want to dispassionate, which means looking at things analytically and not getting sucked in by the highs and lows. So yeah, that's basically saying that Ineos, they're going to be very smart with the way they look at this Manchester United season. They're not going to get carried away by the fact we won the FA Cup. and they are going to look at the lows that we had, and I think that's great. You have some people backing Ten Hag in the club, Claude Blanc. You have some people being devil's advocate. I think that's interesting to see, to take both sides of the argument. I think if you look at Erik Ten Hag, he's done all he can this season, I'm sure of that, to make Manchester United finish the best way possible. And the fact that we won an FA Cup, the fact that it probably has given him a bit more time and a bit more time for them to develop their investigations inside the club. But I do certainly think the way the momentum's going, Erik Ten Hag will be at Manchester United next season. And I can't wait for that, because I think he deserves that season. With all the criticism he's got this season, with all the injuries we've had, I think finishing the season with the FA Cup is way much more than we expected as the season progressed. So yeah, really happy with Ten Hag. We'll see how that review goes. We're going to get some clarity either today or tomorrow about the latest decision with him at Manchester United anyway. So that'd be great to see. And I think it's something important. We need to see where Erik Ten Hag stands with Manchester United, because we just need to see it. It helps, it impacts the transfer window. It helps a lot of things going into Manchester United next season. So yeah, I do think it's really, really important for that to happen, and I think it's nice to see. But yeah, Manchester United will make a decision on Erik Ten Hag as soon as possible. So yeah, let's see what happens. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're going to move on now to the next part, which is certainly an interesting part. We'll be talking about Manchester United budget. Manchester United budget will depend on how much money they can bring in. The initial budget is expected to be somewhere around the 50 to 80 million mark. If Dortmund want to sign both Ian Maatsen and Jadon Sancho, it costs them 85 million. The latter of the price tag of around 50 million. So, two interesting things there. Manchester United budget will depend on how much money they can bring in. If you look at the players at Manchester United that are likely to get sold, one of the goalkeepers will probably go. Varane's going, that's 20 million in wages. Martial's going, that's a 15, 20 million in wages. You look at Wan-Bissaka is looking like he's leaving Manchester United. Maguire could leave. Ericsson might leave. Like, there's certainly money where we can generate. Sancho's definitely going to leave. Anthony could leave. Martial's already left. There's certain players that could leave the club, and I think we can generate a lot of money this summer with the outgoings that Manchester United will make. There's definitely assets that Manchester United have that can get certain amounts of money into the club, and I think getting Sancho out, getting players out in where we can generate profit. Obviously Greenwood will generate some money as well. So we'll be able to get some really, really good money going into next season. And I think that'll be really, really important for Manchester United in particular. I think the quality that Manchester United have in the transfer window will depend on obviously how much money they can spend. And obviously outgoings and ingoings are two key parts of that transfer window phase. Now, Manchester United are the two clubs interested in Michael Olise. United are more advanced at the moment, but Chelsea did try and do a deal last summer, so they know the conditions as well. Given a straight choice between Manchester United and Chelsea, the player would prefer United. That's my understanding from Ben Jacobs. So, that's positive. I think we know Manchester United. It was at the start, it was Neto versus Olise at the start of the season. Which one would Manchester United sign for? It's looking like their organs blazing on signing Olise, and I think that's the right deal to go for. I think Olise is a great quality player with a lot of potential. He's already plays in the Premier League, and someone Manchester United will be interested in to sign. The fact that he's already having discussions with Chelsea and Manchester United, but would prefer Manchester United, is something that all Manchester United fans want to hear. I think getting Olise into our club is really, really important and a key part of Erik Ten Hag's success. And yes, Erik Ten Hag spent £85 million on Anthony, so we can't really, and £72 million on Højlund, so we can't really afford to get a big money signing not work out. I mean, I think Anthony hasn't worked out. Højlund has, but it's still relatively early yet. But I think this is a very important deal. I think you look at Olise, he's got a lot of strengths. He's Premier League proven, and he's young as well. I think it's kind of different to Anthony. So yeah, really, really happy with that news. I think Olise is certainly a player Manchester United fans want to see. He gets players off their seat. He's an exciting player. And yeah, I do certainly think Olise has the strengths to be a Manchester United player. So I'm hoping that that's a deal that we can accelerate quickly on and get him to Manchester United as soon as we can. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Casemiro. There's two news stories on that. So, when John Murtough was at United, he visited Saudi Arabia to discuss potential deals with the Saudi Pro League. Casemiro was a name mentioned, and he nailed on to receive an offer this summer. Manchester United want around 50 million for Casemiro, but Saudi clubs who, contrary to popular belief, don't go crazy with transfer fees, are looking towards 30 million plus add-ons. Varane, he's been linked to a Saudi pro club as well. But going back to Casemiro quickly, he's nailed on leaving Manchester United this summer, and Saudi is looking like the right option. And the option going forward. Al Nassr have been a team that's been linked heavily to the signing of Casemiro. And listen, we're not going to make any profit on him because he cost £70 million. But the one thing that is good, if he does leave, the wages. He's on over 340 grand a week, which is absolutely insane amount of money. We've got one good season out of him. I've had my say on him. Casemiro is someone who should be leaving Manchester United, and it's looking like that's going to be happening this summer. And with Casemiro, the performances have massively dropped off from last season to this season. Reports that he's fallen out with Ten Hag. It seems like his exit is ever looming, and I think it will happen this summer. So Casemiro exit for me is the right thing to do at this current stage. So yeah, that's a really important move and something that certainly needs to happen. Now, CDM looks. Manchester United retaining interest in Wolves midfielder João Gomez. Now, João Gomez, he's a very, very good player. He plays for Wolverhampton. He's a young midfielder, Brazilian midfielder, and he can certainly be a link to Manchester United. Now, there's a few CDMs that we're interested in signing. And I do certainly think he has a lot of potential. Obviously, he's Premier League proven, playing in a mid-table Wolves side. He does certainly have that quality. I think he's very tenacious. Kind of remind me of Fred. He's decent on the ball. But yeah, someone to look out for, I guess. Now, a few hours ago, there's a report on Felix and Greenwood's swap deal. Ben Jacobs said, "I'm told that's nonsense. João Felix wants to stay at Barcelona. He either wants to move to Barcelona to become permanent or loaned out again by Atletico Madrid." So yeah, now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is Jarrad Branthwaite again. Jarrad Branthwaite's price tag is in excess to be of 70 million. Manchester United would likely have to drive Jarrad Branthwaite's price down in order to do a deal. Listen, I've had my say on Branthwaite. I think he's a decent defender. I think he has a lot of good qualities about him. If he's coming into Manchester United, I would like to have a left footer and a right footer, with hopefully Martinez staying fit the whole season and we play majority of the games. You can't really play a back four with two left. It has probably happened before, but I don't think you can really play a back four with two left-footed centre backs. So if Jarrad Branthwaite was to come in, one of Lisandro Martinez and him would be dropped. And then we need a right footer, and Todibo looks like the one to go for. But there's no doubt Jarrad Branthwaite has some really good qualities. Also, the price is really, really high to sign Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, Wan-Bissaka exit. Al Nassr have been previously interested in him. Listen, Wan-Bissaka is looking like he's leaving. Inter Milan have been interested. Now Saudi. I think he's a player who knows he's going to get limited game time with development and the great quality of form that Delo's been in. I think it's important for Wan-Bissaka to make a decision whether he's going to leave. And I think Manchester United have identified a right back to come in to replace Wan-Bissaka should he leave the club. Now, Thomas Maguire exit. Thomas Tuchel in charge of Bayern Munich. Harry Maguire was a consideration. It could be similar for Vincent Kompany, who wants experienced players. He could be an option if they feel they need another centre-back. Listen, Maguire out. So you know Varane leaving this summer. Johnny Evans is probably likely to leave. Out of Lindelof and Maguire, I actually wouldn't mind keeping Maguire. I think he's had a decent season. He scored some goals for us. He's been quality in the year. And listen, the price tag we can't control, but he is a decent player. I don't think he will probably be moved on this summer. I mean, he was very close to be moving on last summer. See if clubs come back in for him this summer. It's looking very unlikely that he does leave. I'm now going to be talking about left-back interest. So, there's two left-backs available. With Manchester United interest in Marc Cucurella last summer, he could be an option at left-back, should Chelsea need to move on some players. Bournemouth left-back Milos Kerkez is a name internally discussed at United, and they're impressed with his development. Chelsea interested. He would be someone who could come in and view to be a starter in the next couple of years. Listen, with the left-back situation is interesting. We've got Luke Shaw and Malacia at the minute. For one of a new left-back to come in, who are adamant Manchester United want to sign, one of Malacia and Shaw would have to leave. Now, I'm assuming it's Malacia. The Manchester United are really happy with Shaw. And with Shaw, been in the club for 10 years. He's been a starter every season. Yes, he's had players come in, but majority of the time he's overcome that and been the starting defender. I think with Luke Shaw, it'll be interesting to see how fit he is next season and how fit Malacia is. We might need to have three left backs at the club with all the injuries that's been happening. Milos Kerkez, I've watched him play for Bournemouth a few times. He's actually very, very good. He's an energetic fullback. Has a good shot on him. Defensively sound as well. Cucurella, we know the strengths that he has. He can go into midfield. Relatively good on the ball, and we know what he can do from his days at Brighton. Newcastle still pushing for Adebayo, but Manchester United interested. The doors are shut at the moment. Trevor Chalobah linked with Manchester United. Ideally doesn't want to leave Chelsea, but with the Chelsea depth at centre-back, the new manager Enzo Maresca could look to move on one or two defenders. He only moved to the club with the right offer in European football. Jarrod Branthwaite is summer transfer target for Manchester United, but Everton's asking price of around 75 million could be a stumbling block. United are looking to add at least one centre-back to their squad during the summer window. Manchester United would ideally like to sign a right-sided centre-back to replace Varane and a left-sided centre-back to add to a cover of Lisandro Martinez. But with Everton's asking price for Branthwaite, who is left-footed, that could convince the recruitment team to focus on signing a right-footed player instead. As well as the centre-back, there are plans in place for Manchester United to sign a midfielder and a striker. Work has been done to identify wingers who may be able to might be available, but sources say that position is lower down the list of priorities. So that's kind of the last part of the interview. Listen, the centre-back thing is very, very interesting. I think there's decent centre-backs out there that we can certainly sign. And yeah, I think Branthwaite, Todibo, Tosin Adebayo, they're certainly great quality candidates. Now, finally, Benny McCarthy has actually spoken about the Jadon Sancho Eric Ten Hag fallout. He said he spoke to the manager and told him that Jadon thinks that if he apologises, he will be seen as someone who doesn't train hard and that everything that has been against him was true. The manager said all he wanted was an apology. So there could be a way back for Ten Hag at Manchester. There could be a way back for Sancho at Manchester United. Ben McCarthy has actually left the club because they will not be giving him a new contract. I think that's it. I think that's it actually. Yeah, don't forget to drop a like. That's been a very interesting news. Thanks to United Stand, obviously, for that interview. I'm not thanking them, but no, it was great to see them. But a great quality interview. So it's a very, very good insights there. What an interview it was. So yeah, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.